damn time and run down the street, I pat my pockets and see you running, don't you know I ain't going to forget that? I don't give a damn how old I get, how much money I have or don't have. I'm going to remember somebody tipped up behind me and picked my damn pocket. Which means every time I walk down the street, I'm looking behind me. Watch your back, Malcolm said. You know, watch your mental back. Watch your spiritual back. Watch your back. You know? Yeah, it's upsetting. You know, it really. I'm trying not to make this the whole of the subject. So I'm gonna get it off my chest while I'm talking now. But like the little proverb goes, somebody telling you you're holding on to a branch, and somebody whispers out, "Let go." You know, it's God. You know, the next thing you say is, "Anybody else up there?" You know, hold on to what you know. Hold on to what you have. If anybody comes to help you, they're not going to ask you to risk your life to be saved, to be raised, or to be enlightened. That ain't the way it works. See? There's a tremendous periphery inside this cultural circle that is interesting, delicious, enticing, preoccupative. You know, you can spend your life's fortune on books and have a wonderful time reading and studying. You know, that ain't what the path is about. The path is about becoming. You know, so there are some beings who raised up godhood in themselves and couldn't read. You know, you see. So it's not about books, but we are fortunate to be in a time when a larger percentage of our people can read. There was a time in this country, in this city, when the larger percentage of American Negro colored folks could not read, which meant everything in here was a foreign language. See? Are we on? Am I hooked up here?
Yes, I'm hooked.
Okay, all right. Let me put Hail Bob in. And I'm going to share this with you. The sister didn't show up. I met one of her friends who had a vision of a spaceship behind Hail Bob. You know, that's what she told me. You know, and I believed her. You know. 2 days later, I had a vision of a spaceship behind Hail Bob. The being in the spaceship was a unusual pinkish color, and it was not physical flesh, with a very strange looking face. The only description that I could afford it was ugly. But it was a spacecraft, but the being was a part of the craft. You know? And I just let it go. You know, I'm not following nobody out in space. You know, okay. I mean, it includes Jesus. He can't come down and get me to go out in space. You know, so I'm getting mine. If it ain't in here, I don't want it. Let me put it that way. Okay, that's why you study, to find out what your nature is, what your power is, where you're going, where you came from, what you can accomplish, what you can achieve. Jesus got his and gone. Muhammad Rasulullah got it and gone. Krishna, Muhammad, all of them, they got it and they gone. Now get yours. You know, that's the message for the new age. We're talking about Hiram Abiff. You didn't have that, you got that, is that back here? That stand? But what we're talking about is not Hiram Abiff. We're talking again about you. Okay. Don't forget that. All right. I don't want to look up on the TV and see one of y'all sitting there next to some of them dumb, because that ain't the last of it, you know. We thought David Koresh was the last of it, you know. And anything beyond what they're talking about in terms of you die, we come and get you. Why would a physical vehicle come to get human beings and only take their spirit? Does that make any sense to anybody in here? Okay, let me leave it alone. Okay. Let me pull this up a little closer so you all can see this. I've been making it convenient for the television set. Okay, on an angle. Yes, sir. Okay. Well, it can pick it up there. Huh? You can't see it on the thing, there, camera at all, huh?
Bring it closer to you.
Okay. Oh. How's that? Well, I'm left-handed, so it's got to be on this side. The reason they're putting it back here is because that way it gets on the camera. Can you all see it from back there? Marianne, can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? Okay. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure, because Sunday they're having trouble seeing the sketchboard. Okay. We through with Hale, Bop, and the rest of that stuff. You all bring your Bibles? Good, okay. I keep urging you to do so because, as I mentioned before, you're going to have to explain this to somebody else. Okay? Even though you think it's for you, it's not. Okay? And somebody is going to call you on it at some point, probably when you least expect it. So if you are forewarned, you are forearmed, okay? And you don't tremble at the point of the converter when they're out there on the street hollering, "Get right with Jesus!" You know, because some of them got, powerful spirit. And that's what they're supposed to do. But that doesn't mean they're supposed to take you with them. Yeah. Right now, most of you all know more than the street preacher. Yeah. Okay. What we're really talking about, as I mentioned, is your spiritual nature and identity. But I want to start with a key word and a key name in the scripture in the Masonic order and in esoteric knowledge, and that's Solomon. How many of you all bought a copy of this? 1, 2, 3. Good. I advise all of you to get a copy of this. Okay, this makes your study sensible. It isn't the deepest or the highest level of definitives of these names and terms, but it certainly is helpful. The other one is G.A. Gaskell, and you don't have anything to do with ordering the books, huh, Uma? You do?
Well, lately I've been doing it.
Well, we've been waiting on
Which one?
these metaphysical dictionaries. I think you got one left, because y'all don't buy but 3. Yeah, okay, good.
No, we have something in the back.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay, all right, okay. Okay, you got Gaskell's Dictionary of All Myths and Scriptures?
No.
Okay. Yes,
That's a dictionary?
Yes, it's a Eastern-oriented metaphysical dictionary. He deals more with vocabulary from ancient scripts beyond that of the Bible. More of an Eastern definitive, but some of the concepts are relevant because he has quite a bit of, quote, Egyptian terminology and Egyptian names in there. So it is so difficult and rare to find that kind of literature that helps increase the level of your understanding of scriptures. Now, when I say scriptures, I don't mean the Bible alone, but the best place for us to start is with the Bible, as some of you have already discovered in talking to your friends, your relatives, and they start throwing some scriptures at you, and some quotes that Reverend Biscuit quoted day before yesterday in Sunday class, and you're supposed to be able to deal with it, so that your point of view is not distorted in your own mind, first of all, and then if they need some light, you can shed some light. Okay. If you have the dictionary, turn to Solomon, because the correlation between Solomon and Hiram Abiff is almost identical. So it's important to have a working understanding of these two names even more so than the name of Jesus, because Jesus is the doer in the scriptures. Okay. Solomon means whole, entire, complete, integral, peace, concord, integrity, rectitude, soundness, peaceful, and pacific.
Pacific.
Did you all hear that? Pacific is what Solomon means. Very interesting term, because there's a whole ocean called the Pacific. Uh-huh.
What, somewhat peaceful?
Well, I'm getting ready to tell you what it means, my brother.
Tell on.
Peacemaker. But the other uniqueness about the concept is that that is the name of one of the largest oceans on the planet. And that is also where it is alluded Atlantis is buried, in the Pacific Ocean. And where the master Elijah Muhammad points to in terms of the ancient past is the Pacific Ocean. Of course, his alludement was in reference to us being Asiatics, which of course does not coin to more, nor is it ethnocentric, okay, which is the point of identity, is that the point of identity reflects your ancestral line, your blood, your genetics, your brain, your going back to Maya, first parent, is what Maya means, pronounced Maya. Okay, let's read this. Son of David, metaphysical meaning, a state of mind that is established in consciousness when the soul is unified with wisdom and love. That Solomon stands for more than a great Hebrew king and a wise man is quite evident to those who have searched deeply in religious and mythological history. As students who look especially for information about the individual man, we discern in Solomon a development of the presiding genius at the heart center. In Scripture, brain and nerve centers, or more strictly speaking, thought centers, are designated as cities. So anytime you see the word city in the Bible, it means center, spiritual center, or physical center in terms of organs, particularly nerve centers and glands. Jerusalem, city of peace, stands for the heart center, and Solomon, peaceful man, stands for the presiding intelligence. When the ruling intelligence is in harmony with the fundamental character of the center, rapid construction of the spiritual body goes on. We are told that David could not build the great temple because he was a man of war. When violent and resistant emotions hold sway in the mind, the turmoil is such as to prevent any permanent construction of the new body on the higher planes of consciousness. So we see the importance of cultivating peace instead of war, non-resistance instead of resistance, harmony and love instead of discord and hate. The symbolic object of Solomon's assembling the head men of Israel, 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 1 through 11, is to construct under the guiding light of divine wisdom an imperishable body. All constructive processes must be under the guidance of divine wisdom. The elders, the heads of the tribe, and the princes represent the directive powers to which the various aggregations, nerve centers, of thoughts in the subconsciousness look for instruction. Okay, that is essentially the blueprint of what Solomon is and what the temple that Solomon is building. Okay? The first thing I want to point out is that when you look at Hiram, you look at three names. The first name is Huram. The second name Hiram Abi. In Masonry, that's added. The third name is Hiram, king of Tyre, or Tyre, whichever preference you have. There's a point where the story of Hiram and his workers or craftsmen changes from scripture to a contrived story in the Masonic lore. The scriptures already state that Hiram finished all his work on Solomon's temple. So the story that comes after that obviously is one contrived by the Masonic Kabbalistic writers and teachers. In other words, Jubilah, Jubilo, and Jubilam are not real in the physical. The point of 15 workers is the key in understanding the whole of the symbology of both Solomon and Hiram Abiff. Before I get to this, I want to make sure I get these notes in. I want to point to a very interesting set of figures and numbers here. After Solomon is given all this wisdom, and we're talking 1 Kings chapter 10, verse 14. Let's go there first. 1:10, 14. Now the weight of gold which came into Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents. Another 666. I'm going to have to do some erasing here, so maybe you all got that. This is hold fast to that, we'll get back to it. After Solomon has finished his receiving of this great wisdom and knowledge as mentioned in chapter 10 of 1 Kings chapter 10, he meets someone. He meets the Queen of Sheba. Anybody know what territory Sheba governed? Very good. And where is Ethiopia geographically on the map?
In the northeast corner.
No, it's not.
India,
No, geographically. When I say geographically, there are 4 points that's supposed to come to your mind. North, east, south, and west, isn't it? Okay. No, it's not.
Queen of the South.
Yeah. How many of you all have a map? Raise your hand. An African map. A map of Africa. Okay. Where is it, young lady? You see it there?
Let's have it direct.
Oh, okay. All right. It's south.
But it should be south.
Okay. Ethiopia is in the south. The southern part of Africa is Ethiopia. that should immediately make reference to something you already have heard and should know. So the Queen of Sheba is the Queen of what? Thank you. And when the Queen of the South rises up, she shall what? Anybody remember that quote? Destroy this generation. Okay? Big, huge key in terms of understanding that A, this is not a person, B, the spiritual work that is done under the auspices, most especially of a black queen, and then of the feminine aspect, which is almost hidden, snuffed out in scriptures. Okay, hold those points. I want to make sure I get them out there. And if I don't get back to somebody, call me on it, okay? Let's get to Hiram Abiff. 1 Kings chapter 7 is what we're working with in terms of the scripture. Hiram Abiff, the widow's son. 1 Kings chapter 5, 2 Chronicles 2, 1 Kings 13. That's where we are in this here. There are 3 aspects to Hiram Abiff's ordeal or Hiram Abiff's journey. We've already discussed the fact that Hiram Abiff, being the builder, the master builder in the temple, is confronted by the 3 ruffians. Recall that last Friday? Jubilo, Jubilah, and Jubilam. And the rationale, the reason why they are confronting him is to find out the secret word. Okay, I left that out last Friday, and nobody called me on it. You know, why were they striking him and why they didn't allow him to leave the temple? That should have been somebody's question. I don't want you all to sit here and let me throw stuff at you, okay? Keep thinking. You're not following anybody except yourself, okay? All right, so bring me to task and to question if I get you to a point and it doesn't make any sense or I seem to leave something out. Yes?
If I'm not mistaken, you did give us a secret word.
Well, I gave you the word, but I didn't give you the reason why Hiram Abiff was being attacked by the 3 ruffians. I just brought it up. And when I got home, I remembered I didn't give it to you. And it's important because there is a point where your higher self, the knower, confronts you with the truth. And you have to respond to the truth. You see? Especially when you take a spiritual quantum leap, you're going to get the biggest test of your life. Just like Jesus did, just like Alexander the Great did, just like Muhammad and Buddha did, just like Hitler did, and some passed, and some flunked. Okay? You're going to get the temptation. It's an intricate part of spiritual development. See? So you need the right answer. And it will be made so that you don't know it's your higher self. You'll think it's you. Okay. Let me turn this a little bit so I can see what I'm doing here. I know he hates for me to move this so his camera's hooked up. Oh, is it? Okay. So Hiram Abiff is confronted by Jubilah, and he says, tell me the word. What is the secret word? And he says, I cannot tell you. So he starts to leave, and he starts to leave by the south gate. Okay, as we already understand. Now, what I should have pointed out also, first of all, Hiram Abiff or Hiram Abi is the seminal principle. Not the organs, not the fluid, but the vita libra in the fluid. that regenerates and activates the power in the body. Okay, that's the major factor about understanding this level of symbology. Okay, Jesus represents the perfect man after the temple has been built. Okay, so the inclusiveness of this kind of metaphysics is not a part of the direct scriptural account of Jesus. We meet him as the Lord, not as a developing human being. It is Hiram Abiff and the story of Hiram Abiff in his commissioning to build the temple that we see how we are to develop to the level of divinity, of godhood. Okay, that includes the validity and the legality of a Hiram Abiff and a Solomon in equating those two with Jesus. Okay, we're not talking about Jesus or Solomon or Hiram Abiff. We're talking about the spiritual man. Okay, we want to make sure we understand that so we don't get lost in our search for somebody to admire, worship, and follow. Excuse me. Huram. Let me get to my notes here so I won't make a mistake. Okay. Excuse me. Did that grate anybody's nerves there? You need vitamin B. It will tell you that when you hear that scraping and it bothers your nervous system, you're vitamin B deficient. Okay, that's one of the most conspicuous symptoms of vitamin B deficiency. And the reason you're vitamin B is you're drinking too much pop, young lady, or whatever puts the sugar in the body, because that's what takes out B and C, is white granulated sugar, the devil. Huram. Who is what? Does anybody know what this is?
Color?
Is it a root word?
No, it's not. That's what we were told back in the 60s. The hue man. Our political brothers. That's the hue man. The white man is the hue man. What'd you say?
I was thinking about a word called Tamil.
No, I've given you all this word. I've given it to you.
I think he was the god of authoritative speech.
Well, you're close. This is the word itself. Who? Allah. Who? Allah. Who? Allah. Who? It is the word itself in the Egyptian text. You see, the one sitting out there in the middle of the desert. That's Lord Who. And what is ram? Come on, where's the ram? Thank you. Where's what part of the ram governs? Thank you. All right, let's stay awake. I'll have you out there in a spaceship in a minute. All right. So we know. Let me see here. Huh?
At the top.
Oh yeah, no here. Oh, you mean the word? Yeah, sahu. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah. In this is I wish we could get a distributable blueprint. This is an excellent chart to have. There's a lot of information. It's high. Now you can find this in the Egyptian gods, right? Egyptian gods. Yeah. Yeah.
Like book by Budge. No, not by Budge.
Yeah, by Budge. Yes.
Big one? Hard copy?
The paperback, Dover publishes in paperback.
Right.
The Book of the Dead. Yeah. Huh?
Black and white.
The book is black.
It's yellow.
I mean the cover.
The cover is yellow, the one with the better text and the pictures. But if I'm not mistaken, these pictures are found in one of the Egyptian god texts, if I'm not mistaken.
Papyrus of Ani?
Huh?
Papyrus of Ani, because that's Ani.
Ani, yeah, right. Okay. Well, Ani is the major initiate in the presentation of the coming forth by day and by night. Okay, thank you very kindly. I'm trying to get here to a piece of information that I don't want to overlook. Oh. The key here is that inside this body fluid is a substance that clicks off our spiritual power, something that Christianity, Islam doesn't tell us, that everything you need spiritually is already in the body. In the lore of Hiram-Abiff being killed before the temple is finished, and that's the lore because it states that Hiram-Abiff finished all his work for the Lord, okay? So we know it's a contrived story. And as most human beings allow this seminal principle, this vita libra, to be drained from the body out the south gate, okay? That's the south gate, okay? Which means it can't get either north, east, or west in order to regenerate, okay? Big major key. Now, let me say this. This does not mean that sex is a sin or wrong. We're talking about another level of human being developing. You need to know what your spiritual potentialities are so that you can use them to your advantage. Secondly, in parentheses, human beings mating should not indulge in a 7-day jump series, the jump factor in there, because they deplete their cerebral nervous system. This substance has a physiological value of regenerating, insulating, feeding the nervous system, the spinal cord, and the brain. The brain needs your spermatoza and your ovum. And if you don't believe me, take your finger and rub it behind your ears. Remember Grandma used to say, boy, wash behind your ears, you know, because she knew something about this odor of spermatoza and ovum behind the ears and this pulp that comes out of the nose, to let you know that this substance moves into the cerebral. And the brain uses it as food. Okay? We're not going to get any more brain cells. You got them all. They ain't issuing no more. If they die, and most human beings are walking around with a good percentage of their brain cells dead, then the spirit needs to regenerate the old cells. Okay? And will generate the old cells. You help that along by giving it the substance that it needs to regenerate. That substance and other substances in the body is what is called the ruins in Solomon's temple. Okay? Remember, after he goes out towards the south gate, Jubilah strikes him. Yeah, I want to give this to you correctly. I didn't do it last time. I wrote it down. Hiram is struck across the throat, the breast, and the head with the gauge, the square, and the gavel by each one of these three ruffians. Now, let me see if I can recall it by heart. The master mason must maintain an instructive tongue, a faithful breast, and a knowledgeable mind. So when a mason does this, He's talking about his statue, that he has a instructive tongue, a knowledgeable mind, and a faithful heart. Okay? Now that's not for the Mason, that's for the Moor. I mean, don't go around doing this here and showing off. Get a knowledgeable mind, an instructive tongue, and a faithful heart. Okay? That's what we're talking about. Okay? We're not going to try to enter into Masonic symbolic language to show off, because that's all you can do if you're not in the brotherhood. It doesn't mean anything, because what he'll do is come up and test you and give you a symbol to see if you know what you're talking about. If you don't know what you're talking about, he's going to turn around and walk away. Okay? And leave you standing there looking foolish and thinking you're wise. Okay. Now I tried to find the 15 workers, and I couldn't find them. I have to confess that. Okay. He struck first by the gauge. These are all measuring tools for the master mason, the stone mason, the builder. Okay? Understand the tools of masonry as spiritual tools for development. That's where they come in handy for us. Okay? We're trying to put together something here. Quit looking in that Masonic book there, Moore. Well, you're not cheating anybody but yourself. We're trying to get to the knowledge of self, not break open the Masonic secrets and seals. The level. That's not the level. The level and the plump. Okay? Those are the tools we're trying to find for balance in this whole story of putting up, constructing King Solomon's temple. This is the plane of duality. This is where the trouble is. This is the plane of emotions, where most human beings have their most difficult challenges, let me put it that way, instead of their worst of troubles. Particularly the melanin-filled human being who has yet to learn how to control and direct this tremendous deathless substance that, if sparked the wrong way, sets him and her into a rage and gives him and her all kinds of cancers, strokes, and other paralytic conditions imposed upon themselves by their own loss of the temple, the temper, the temperature. Okay? This is the level of emotions. This is the level of feeling. When you stand on the square, you combine those two planes of your nature. When you get those two in alignment, you're then standing on the square. When your feelings and your emotions do not contradict each other, you're standing on the square. That's a part of the great work. And you can tell that how difficult that is when you sit and some other part of your body starts fidgeting, and when you consciously intend to sit and you start scratching, your nose start itching, that's the subconscious trying to get you out of the chair. Okay, yes.
What's the difference between feelings and emotions?
The ability to sense your environment is the ability, the capacity, it's a very good question, the capacity to feel and touch the inner world and the outer world. It is not a sense, it is the ability of the soul that feels. We only have 4 senses: Feeling is that energy, extended awareness, consciousness, extended by self, the soul, throughout the 5 parts of the body. That's you extending yourself throughout those 5 limbs. You can tell that, as I mentioned before, when you wake up in the morning and you have to reach up and get this arm because it's dead. Then it's not sleep, it's dead. There is no feeling nature in that limb. It retreats back. Your consciousness follows the line of your energy, and your energy follows the line of your blood, and vice versa. So if you hold your hand up above your head and your blood drains down your arm, then there's no energy, no sensation, feeling, nature extended to the fingers. That's exactly what death feels like. And one of the few times that you can sense it without being dead, because in meditation there's this other sense of being detached from the body when it is dead in the street. Okay. So your feeling ability is your self, soul, nature extending itself throughout the 5 limbs of the body, animating, activating the body. Okay? Did I answer it for you? Okay. So here is where we're trying to get, on the level and the plump. Okay? Yes, dear?
I have a question, brother. I've heard you said before, and I've read it somewhere, but I still never seem to get it.
Okay.
How does one go about letting that special fluid go to the top of your head to make you your spiritual self?
Huh?
And we're talking about how does one go about refraining from intimacy and
That is what I said. Refraining
that's not
from.
what you said.
No.
Let's say one.
Yeah. Let me interrupt you, because you're getting ready to get on a journey of the ascetic. We're not in an ascetic society. We're not trying to get away from our nature. We're working to master our nature. Okay? So if you have a mate, someone you're being intimate with, find the rhythm of your intimacy so that you get a chance to use that substance when needed, and when you want to express and share yourself, your love, your emotions with your partner. It takes 24 hours for the body to remake a usable supply of both ovum and spermatoza. By leaving it in the body automatically draws it up. You don't have to do anything, but just leave it in the body. Okay, it's automatic. It goes to the brain. You see, if it's not interfered with. Okay. Secondly, each time you do this, raise your eye or attention between your eyebrows, your energies automatically start moving up. All of your energies, the fluids, including your blood, the other chemical fluids, including the energy, the prana, as well as the breath, all of it starts moving up. It's as natural as looking up, okay? It takes 72 hours for the body to distribute this substance, Hiram Abith, to go full and throughout the whole of the temple, to regenerate, okay? So you space your sexual intimacies according, so that you don't wake up nervous, irritable, and jumpy, and mad for no reason at all, okay? Again, balance. The key is physical, chemical, mental, emotional balance, okay? All right? Okay. The other is don't sweat it, okay? The other is meditate. Meditate. The key is meditate. Okay? Let the natural spiritual and natural human processes take place. Okay? Simply that. Until you get further orders from your headquarters. All right? I'm supposed to go through this here. Okay, we talked about what Hiram Abiff symbolizes in the 1, the seminal fluid, in the 2, the word itself. The problem is, in the story, Hiram doesn't know he's the word. Just as Jubilah, Jubilo, and Jubilam do not know that they are the word and the giver of the word, because they're acting independent of each other. The 12 of the 15 workers in this contrived story are the workers in the body, in the temple, building the temple. Those are your spiritual centers in the body. On another level, they become what's called spiritual points, but we're not there. We're still in the temple, that are being affected by what these 3 ruffians are doing to Hiram, the master mason, the master builder. Okay? The knower, the thinker, and the doer. The doer is the builder, the one putting the parts together to make the perfect building. And I found this verse here. Hold on a second, where did I write it? Write down 1 Kings 6:7. 1 Kings 6:7. I'll read it in a minute. And the house, while it was being built, was built of stone, prepared at the quarry. And there was neither hammer, nor axe, nor any iron tool heard in the house while it was being built. Which tells you it's not a physical building. Okay? But the tools for hewing the stone, the ashlar, the movable stone, and structuring the building are mentioned in that verse. Okay? So we're not talking again about a structure outside of self, but the structure inside of self. Now, the whole concept of Hiram Abiff building the temple is not about the physical body. Mama has already built it. It's about the spiritual body. It's what the work you're doing in the body. It is not physical. It is spiritual work. So all of the tools, all of the bricks and the gold and the silver and the other precious stones is all spiritual substance. It's important to recognize what gold is. What is gold? Anybody? What? Speak up. Don't be wiping your face. What did you say? That's right. Precisely. It's a mineral. What is silver? Right. And you have gold and silver in your body already. Okay? On the spiritual level, it's already there. The ruins of the temple. Okay? Okay. Let me go on here. They're referred to, the 12 sinners are referred to as the Great 12. Now, here is where this plays its part here. Anybody want to figure out what those 3 6s are before I start? Let's see how intuitive you are. Ma'am, don't whisper, speak up. What'd you say? Yes, you did. Now say it again.
I was asking you a question.
You know, you were making a statement.
I was saying I was trying to find out what you said 12 sentences.
Oh, I thought you said the 12 signs of the zodiac. Okay. All right.
I know that, but I made it 12 sentences.
Right. Now let me do this because I want you all to. You're supposed to be.
That's what triple six.
Yeah. Let me put these over a little ways over here. Got them too close here. One, two, three, four. Have I got them all there? Okay, you all know these glyphs? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's find out if you know what's that.
Libra, Aquarius, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, Capricorn, Virgo.
Okay. Those are your 6 talents of gold. Talents of gold. Not gold coins of talons. Those are the great 12 and the elements.
Still lost with 666.
3 and 3 is how much?
6.
3 and 3 is 6. Fire. Earth. Air. And water. Those are your 666, which equals what? That was the first key.
9.
3 times 6 is what?
18.
And 1 and 8 is what? And 9 is what? 9 is this. Right. When you see 3 6s, the first thing you think of is the circle, the spiritual man. Okay. That's self.
6, 4.
3 and 3, 3 and 3, the elements in the 6 equals the 9. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're trying to correlate it according to count. Yeah, I know you are. Okay, there's your 9. There's the circle.
With the 4 quadrants.
There it is right there. Okay. The key is gold talents. That's the key that sends you beyond the physical into the spiritual. It's the same concept of 666 is the number of a man.
Okay, now, since we're doing 666,
Yeah.
I remember one time you wrote FOX on the label.
That's the first concept of FOX. This is the other concept of 666.
I understand that.
All right, okay, all right. Right, this is the lower man. This is the star turned upside down, okay?
Just the letters FOX represent this one.
What did they spell, brother?
Fox.
Sneaking and sliding around, man. He's foxy.
That level of man.
Jesus told his disciple to go back and tell that fox.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. When the brain is filled with sex energy,
See, I'm just trying to
the heart, well, that's what I want you to, well, call me on it. Call me on it.
understand. Well, Fox 666, that don't...
All right. Well, if you knew what a fox was, it would tell you everything. Yeah.
I'm from the city, baby.
Oh, I know.
Some of them, man.
You used to two-legged foxes. Yeah. We showed up all to know what the fox is.
It's just the letter 6.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yes. Yes, go on,
I
Serena.
have a question.
Yes.
While we're on the subject of 666, how does that relate to the so-called mark of the beast?
That's what we're getting ready to do up here. You weren't here last Friday, were you?
Yes, sir.
Were you here? Well, then I did this, didn't I?
But I remember.
Yes, I did. I did it somewhere. Didn't I? Oh, okay. Maybe I did on Sunday then.
First class.
Give me the name of the birth group that has 6 children in it. 6 twins. It's called what?
Sextuple.
Thank you. This is the English Latin word for 6. Okay?
Right.
All right, okay. So sex equals 6. That is not what it means in the Codex Inscriptus. What does it mean in the Codex Inscriptus? Very good, my brother. Spinal energy excretion. The spermatosa and the ovum is what SEX really means, and what you're really doing with that Vita Libra, that liberating vitality is Vita Libra. Which, spinal energy excretion. Yes. Okay, now we get to, after Solomon has received all this wisdom, I asked you all to read chapter 7, and y'all didn't do it, did you? No, we didn't, brother. Yeah.
Well, let me stop you for just
Yes,
one
go
second.
right ahead.
Hiram was slain for not imparting the word.
All right. No, he was struck first.
He was, okay.
Yes, he was struck. Then, okay, I didn't finish that. He was struck first in the throat, which is where? What center is this? Of what?
The bar.
Power of the spoken word. All right. Then he struck again in the breast, which is what center? The heart center. Then he struck in the head. What center is that? The center of the Master Mason, the crown chakra. Right, okay? So when he tries to escape, the story is talking about when this fluid is trying to get out of the body to express itself on the human level. So it first starts out the most convenient gate, the south gate. Then he stopped. Then he is asked, give me the word. What is the secret word? I cannot give you the word. Wait until the temple is finished, is his statement in the Masonic order. Now this is acted out in the lodge, okay? Then he heads for the east gate, which is where? Where's the east?
Inside.
Where? Very good. The front of the body inside, right, okay. Okay, head for the east gate. That's where he's struck in the breast with the, anybody remember? The breast is struck, he's struck in the breast with what? Well, it's all right, you can look, it's all right, yeah. With the square. Yeah, okay. Okay. So then he heads for the west gate, and he's struck again with a tool. Where's the west gate? What's in the back? All right. Yeah. Okay. So then this is, remember now, this is a contrived story, okay, to show that the physical vital fluid, the seminal fluid, must die in the body and stay in the body to be converted to spiritual energy. Okay, that's one higher, okay, being demonstrated on these three levels of knower, that's the self, the soul, thinker, that's Haim Abiff, and the doer. Excuse me, the Haim Abiff is King Haim of Tyre. Haim Abiff is the master mason, the master builder. Okay? Those three levels, acting out what this soul self is doing in the inner temple with this substance. Now, it's not just the Vita Libra. There are other higher energies in the body, but again, this is the drama, the acting out. And symbolic language lets us in on this invisible substance inside the physical, okay, that moves throughout the body and ignites, quickens the spiritual centers in the body, so that the 12, the great 12 can finish their work. And what's the work that the great 12 do? What does Aries do? I am, says Aries. Huh? Okay. What does Taurus do? I have. Okay. So the 12, the great 12 are the 12 signs, the 12 abilities of the 12 signs of Zodiac, Mother Zodiacius. Okay. Doing what those 12 abilities in the human body, spiritualized, are capable of doing. Okay? It's all worked out in this great drama of Hiram Abiff in the temple. Okay? Fillmore just simply brings it right to the glands, okay, and tries to enact it through the apostles, and it doesn't work. Okay? There isn't enough information about what the apostles are doing